All right, doing this from my classroom today. The whiteboard's going to come in handy a little bit later, but I'm going to answer question 2 and question 3 from the discussion board. Question 2 is provide an example of the difference between learning and performance in your coaching area of interest. For me, I just want to talk about something that just happened. We just finished up our fall ball a week ago, or a week and a half ago at this point. And one particular practice during the individual skill set portion, when I was just working with the offense, we were practicing a lot of inside finishing. So as the guys were cutting towards the ball, we were catching it, making sure that the stick was in between our shoulders before we finished the ball, so that a defender can't come up from behind us, check the ball out, that sort of thing. Make sure we can catch under pressure and finish under pressure. So we did a couple of drills to simulate that. And it just so happened that during that 6-on-6, we scored so many goals from the inside. We were able to score so many goals on this defense when we went live to that half field. And even though we were successful in that performance, that does not necessarily mean that we did any learning. Okay, so what they talked about in the content for this week was that in order for it to be considered learning, those temporary effects of that practice have to take time to dissipate a little bit. So for the players, they might have had inside finishing on their mind. We just practiced it a bunch, so we saw those looks, we saw and read those stimuli a little bit easier because of that positive effect of practice, which is awesome. And as coaches, we love to see that because we said to ourselves, hey, what we're doing matters, what we did worked, and it felt great. However, we can't necessarily know for sure if learning occurred because it hadn't been enough time. So if a week later we still got those same looks, that's a better indication that they learned the different skills that we wanted them to learn. But for this instance, we couldn't tell just in this one particular practice whether or not that learning did occur. But it was a fantastic performance nevertheless. For question 3, in your area of interest, provide some examples of measures to determine learning and learning transfer. I'm going to talk a little bit about shooting again. That's something I feel like I always talk about, but it's so important for the offensive side of the field, and there's going to be an easy example here. Okay, so if we're practicing different things like a sidearm shot, do you like my lacrosse stick here? It's a meter stick here. But if we're practicing something like a sidearm shot or an underhand shot, which are more traditionally, or non-traditional skills, I should say, initially we'd probably start off by practicing the general form from like 10 yards out, right from the center of the goal. But once we went through those fundamentals and practiced it, in order to see if learning occurred, we could obviously do some sort of transfer test, where instead of shooting from 10 yards right in front of the goal, we have to change those conditions up. So maybe we're shooting from the wing or the side of the field. Maybe we're shooting with a low angle shot kind of close to that goal line. Maybe we're shooting where 6 to the inside, 6 to the outside. Different variables there, including adding a goalie or adding a defender that we can shoot around. Okay, if we still have those same biomechanics, and if we can potentially, as a part of a test that we could use a performance curve for, we have a target. Maybe we have a target in the top right corner, or the target offside hip, which is a great place to shoot. If we put that target, if we can consistently hit that target, despite a couple of change conditions like where we're shooting on the field, that could be a great indication that we learned, okay? Another thing, on the defensive side of the field, I want to talk about slide angles, right? So this is where this is coming into play. I'm really entering my teacher mode here. But as an offensive player dodges, so this X, he's dodging, he's got the ball. Defensively, it's important to make sure if we need to slide from the crease, if the on-ball defender needs help, we have to make sure that our angles are appropriate. If we slide too high, essentially the slide's ineffective. This dodger can keep on running down the field and get a great shot. If we slide a little bit too downfield, this attacker can cut to the inside, get a great shot from the inside. We have to make sure that we are kind of Goldilocks-ing this thing right in the middle. And so there's been a couple of drills where you can do on the defensive side of things where you simulate this, and we can see in maybe like a part to hold type of situation, maybe small ball, whether you're going 2-on-2 or 3-on-3, we can then use this as sort of our transfer, I'm guessing, right? we can see, okay, are you sliding well when we are in this small ball set? All right, we can look on film. How many successful slides are we having? Are you too high, too low? We can evaluate the error of the angle of our slide, right? And of course, we could probably make a performance curve with, all right, how many good or how many errors are we making on the slide or the slide angle compared to the number of repetitions? Now, that could be a problem because, as it says in our notes, as I said in our text, those between subject effects are masked, meaning that it might be there. If we're taking the defense as a collective, we might not know whether there's one individual making a lot of mistakes or maybe it's a whole team effort. We don't know how an individual themselves are improving or not improving. And of course, this is only one particular performance. It's not necessarily learning. However, with all that being said, it could be a great indication of improvement, especially if results continue in the long term. So I think that's it. Thanks for watching.